have a look at the melting point of our metallic bonding. Check out my previous video if you're unsure how we came up with the metallic bonding diagram, but your metallic bonding is just your metal cations in a regular arrangement surrounded by your sea of delocalized electrons. Let's have a look at whether they're going to have high melting and boiling points and or low. Well, if you think about a metal, a lot of them, if not all of them, they are solids at room temperature, and we can probably guess that they're going to have a very high melting points. With all of this, we need to be able to explain why and link it back to the structure. Again, this is bonding between something that's positive and something that's negative. So it's between two different charges. And whenever we have bonding between two different charges, we always refer to it as electrostatic bonding or electrostatic forces. So in this case, we have very strong metallic bonding. So it's very strong electrostatic forces between your positively charged cations and your sea of delocalized electrons. You must refer to these words when explaining why they have a high melting and boiling point. Again, very similar to explaining why your ionic compounds have a high melting and boiling points. You just actually need to say what the definition of metallic bonding is, and then of course we're referring to melting and boiling, so we must refer to energy, how much energy is required to break these forces. Again, I'm using the word a lot because I'm just describing why metals have high boiling and melting points. I'm not making a comparison. So I'm not going to say it requires more energy, because more, again, is a comparative word. And if you just are being asked to describe why and explain why metals have a high melting and boiling point, and if you say and more energy is required, you will necessarily not really get the marks in your exam. So we just need to say a lot of energy is required. So metals have very high melting points because they have very strong electrostatic force of attraction between positive metal cations and a sea of delocalized electrons. Therefore, a lot of energy is required to break and overcome these forces.